So a rule of thumb in Fusion, if you can use lines and arcs, then do it. But when it comes to tracing objects or creating nice, continuous flowing curves, splines are the tool. So to use splines in Fusion, of course, you're going to need a sketch. I start a brand new sketch. I go up to create and find the two different splines. We're going to spend some time with the fit point, and then we'll talk about control point and how they're different. The first thing, the biggest gotcha, my least favorite thing about splines, when you click to get started and you click again, you're introducing curvature. Here's the gotcha. I think that you should be able to hit escape because I'm used to doing that with lines and arcs. When I do, it deletes it. Not cool, not my favorite. So this is an important one. When you're doing splines, make sure that you do one of two things. That's either find the green check mark, and that will accept it, and your last point that you selected will be the final point of that spline, or simply hit enter on the keyboard and your spline will be completed. I have 3 points on this spline, and you can kind of tell because you see 3 green lines with dots on it. Those are called spline handles. When I click on the spline, they reawake and show up. And what they do is control the rate of curvature and behavior coming out of the endpoint. Notice, if we zoom in here, this green circular handle that's happening. That's showing you the rate of curvature or the circular arc that's being used to create this spline's behavior. In this design, I have 3 different profiles, and I'm going to do a loft. I'm going to solve between these 3 profiles. A great example where maybe a spline might be a really good fit. So if I come to the top plane, start the fit spline, and I'm going to connect the endpoint. Anywhere that I'd like to introduce change or control, I'll click. So I'm going to click at the profile. I'm going to introduce at least one point there and click the end. Be sure to click the green check mark. I have this spline, and now without doing anything, I could come in and loft this. So if I loft it, it's only going to loft kind of one side. So we could introduce another control or rail, as it's called in Fusion. I go click the plus sign, add this rail, and it follows that curvature. So now, if we simply update our spline sketch, we can control it. Okay, so when we come in here, I can drag points in. I can click on the spline itself and then use these handles to control that rate of change or curvature. Let's talk about some of the additional capabilities here. If you were to hit escape a few times, right click on the spline and you'll see some menus right in the middle. The ability to actually close the spline or change the sketch. You can introduce additional fit points, and you can toggle the curvature display. This curvature is nice so that it gives you the understanding of, again, that rate of change or the behavior of your spline between the different points. So as you drag it, you can see that change, and as these get larger, that's communicating that it's a large amount of curvature or change. Probably one of my favorite tools that you can use in Fusion is the ability to bring in an image. So I'm in a brand new file, I start a sketch, and I search for canvas. And what this does is it allows you to insert a file from your existing library. I select it on the computer, and then I have some toggles here. I can toggle it to mirror it across the axis, and then I can scale it a little bit, or I can simply accept it. And now I like to go up to the canvas. I like to choose to calibrate it so that I get one key dimension properly done, and then it kind of rescales the image for you. So if you know, for perhaps like this diameter, I'd go from end to end and say that that's supposed to be 10 millimeters. Click enter, it resizes your sketch. Now, here's where splines come in. Start a sketch, go to spline, or simply choose it right here. And then come in, and remember that you can come in and zoom as close as you want. One rule of thumb with splines is that you want to put as few of control points as possible that still allows you to get the geometry that you want. So if this is close enough, then I can just add points as I go. If I want to get really accurate, you can see that just kind of creating more points gives me more control, but it is going to make managing all of this a little harder, as well as even processing it and solving your sketch a little bit slower. Click the green check mark, and so now I have a series of spline points. Hit escape a few times, right click on your spline and choose insert spline point. It's going to allow me to put one here. Hit escape. I'm going to drag this a little closer, and so you can see that you can even drag it down. But I love how this allows me to introduce more control and get this tighter around areas that I care about. Now, here's an important gotcha when it comes to splines. You cannot add a dimension right onto a spline. With a line, of course you can, right? We're used to that. We can do everything from dimensioning the line, dimensioning to the endpoints, dimensioning angles. All those different things can happen. Arcs, you can put a radius or a diameter. Here, you can't. But what you can do is dimension these handles. You can dimension the total distance, the horizontal distance, the vertical distance. You can dimension that. You can even add constraints. Looking at this second handle here, I select the line. I can come up and choose vertical, and you can see that it resolves that and it's locking this in. What hasn't been defined is the distance or length of this spline handle. So even though it must stay vertical, we can even add a dimension to this, or you could set that it actually has a relationship to the lower spline handle. Okay, when you have a spline, you can right click on it and you can introduce an auto close. So you can close it automatically, and you can even use tools like trim and extend. If I trim this, it's just going to delete it. I'll undo that. And what I want to do is introduce a line that I'm trimming with. So now I can trim that spline based on that closed profile. You can also extend. If I try to extend this, it won't do anything because it's not hitting anything. If I bring a line down and try the extend, I'll choose this line. It extends, adds another control point for that spline. Let's talk about another spline. So when you look at the splines, you'll see the second option is control point. And this one's a little bit different, where the other gives us control of each point location. It's really the beginning and the end for this one. So you click, and as I click out in space, you'll notice that the spline is actually away from my endpoints. Only the final point will it be accurate in space. So I hit the green check mark, and you can see these control points that have been placed out in space and these construction lines. What's cool about this is you can actually dimension, constrain, and control these construction lines. Right click, I can make them all equal. I could start adding dimensions. That's pretty nice. But I will definitely say that you don't have quite as much control, but you can do maybe a nicer job of creating nice, smooth, continuous curvature. Same thing like before, right click, and you can toggle your curvature display. I didn't mention below, the curvature display is here, and this just allows you to change the density of the lines, make it a little bigger, smaller, just easier for you to see and visualize the curves. Over on the sketch palette, you can toggle this on and off. One other curve I'd like to introduce, or tool for curves, is when I am doing a fit spline and I have this other control point spline, in Modify, there's a blend curve. It does a nice job of solving between curves to give you this nice smooth tangency between them. There's also a shortcut for this. So if you're working with different lines and entities, like I'm going to do some lines here, and I now want to do a spline. If I click and drag, this is very delicate here. I'll click and drag. It introduces a spline, but it's got auto tangency. Immediately, it's got tangency applied into the spline, and how it relates to the other entity that I came out of. One trick I really like, and I learned this from Fusion 360 School, I'm a big fan, is the ability to do symmetry with your splines. So I'm going to create this little geometry here that's, got a midpoint with these construction lines. And I want to introduce a spline. I'm doing fit point. I'll click the endpoint off in space somewhere and the other endpoint. Hit the green check or hit enter on the keyboard. Now, I want these handles to behave the same way so that I get some symmetry going. I'll select the line, the handle. I'll select both handles and the center line, and I'll find symmetry. It solves it, but the one challenge with this is these are not the same lengths. They have the same angle, and that's great. Let's also select the handles and make them equal. And so now I'm going to get nice symmetry with a spline. Pretty cool little trick. And if I want to tighten this up, I probably ought to align this midpoint with that midpoint, or at least make them vertical. And then, I know that in his example, he took this handle and he made it horizontal, which would also introduce some more uniform behavior here. So if we click that and choose horizontal, it's going to lock it in. So in Fusion, when you're using that control point spline, you can click the green check mark. You've got your spline. Over here, you'll notice degree 5 and degree 3. It says that this is recommended for the sculpt workspace. This is recommended for more general modeling workflows. And you'll also hear things like G1, G2 continuity, G4. And what that's actually talking about is how things behave together. So I'm not an expert in this, but what I do understand is when you talk about G0, it's basically going from a point from two different curves that basically have no relationship to each other. G1, it's more like a fillet, a nice blended edge or corner. G2, you're starting to get where the curves are matching up in many different ways and in their transition. So when you get into these high levels of like G5 continuity, that's something that, is approaching things where you would see it in the real world, where you look at a panel of surfaces on a car, and if the lighting looks consistent, that's because they did a lot of effort in keeping that continuity in the curves. If you'd like to learn more and nerd out on this, there's a great write-up by Navin Bhaskar. I'll put that in the description below. So there's a lot more here with splines. What I would definitely say is when it comes to tracing, I'd be using that fit point spline. It's a little bit easier to control, and there's a lot of cool tools here. Play with it today. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any additional tools that I missed, things you'd like to mention to the community. Hey, so thanks for watching. We're working our way through the entire Fusion library. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.